Hey, how's it going everyone? It's me, it's Jinsula, and in today's video, I'll be talking about some controversies related to Pokemon Go's next Community Day. Niantic announced that a handful of changes are coming to the Community Day format. One of these changes in particular has created a lot of backlash. However, I do think there are still a handful of things to be really excited about with some of the other changes, and I do want to highlight them here. But we really do need to talk about what is causing the community to be up in arms. Okay, so with that said, let's roll the intro and jump right into it. Alright, let's talk about the next Community Day coming to Pokemon Go, which is going to be spotlighting the one and only Stufful. I'm actually really hyped for this because it is going to be the first Community Day to introduce a brand new Pokemon alongside its shiny form. Stufful is a fan favorite Pokemon from the Alola region, and it even has some Go Battle League implications with its exclusive move Drain Punch. Of course, Stufful is not the only thing going on with April Community Day. Niantic is also going to be making some changes to Community Days moving forward. Speaking of which, let's talk about those changes now. Niantic made it a point that this particular Community Day is going to be the beginning of a new format with a couple of key changes. Most of these changes are going to be subtle and positive, but one change in particular is getting a lot of backlash. Ever since the pandemic bonuses took effect, every Community Day has lasted for 6 hours. This meant that your window to participate in these events were much larger than before. Well, it looks like Niantic is reverting the duration back to 3 hours. According to them, this decision came about from a lot of community feedback as well as some in-game metrics that they were closely monitoring. They stated that players seemed to prefer the hours that were set for Bulbasaur Community Day Classic a couple of months ago. They also stated that only 5% of players actually participated in the full 6 hours. When I think about their reasoning for this change, I noticed a major flaw. One of the reasons why players felt Bulbasaur Community Day Classic being 3 hours was fine was because this Community Day featured a Pokemon that already had a Community Day. This sort of feedback probably would have only applied to this sort of repeat Community Day where it was okay for players to play more relaxed and not as hardcore. It could be the case that Niantic got the completely wrong message when it came to this feedback. I mean, one of the major benefits of having a 6-hour Community Day duration was that it allowed players to be flexible. If you had a morning shift or an evening shift at work, for example, then you would still have plenty of time to enjoy Community Day before or after work because of the long duration. But now that the duration is going back to how it was before, this means that people who work on the weekends may now miss out on a couple of Community Days. It's really unfortunate. Now, even though this change is almost universally hated, I do think that the arguments for this change do have some merit. One of the things that was lost by the 6-hour duration was the sense of community behind these events. Since it was so flexible, most Pokemon Go communities found that players will play mostly at home with incense. I think by having Community Days last for 3 hours, it will most certainly encourage players to meet up once again. This is of course because the pressure to get as many shinies as possible is once again going to be factored in, so players will naturally congregate to the best spots to play. When they increased the duration to 6 hours, I noticed that most players no longer went to the best grind spots, because there wasn't as much pressure to collect shinies as there was before. Now when it comes to what I personally think regarding this change, I'm actually kind of in a wait and see mentality. Initially, I did not like it at all. I thought Niantic was making a huge mistake and they would receive a lot of backlash for it, which of course they did. But the more I think about it, I actually came to the conclusion that there are some potential upsides towards bringing the event back to 3 hours. Like I mentioned before, I really do think that reducing the Community Day duration does allow for more community, since more players will congregate to the best spots for the most shinies since there is less time to get them. Best case scenario, the 3-hour duration is going to improve the experience overall and once again make it more about the community rather than the shinies. But like I said, we just have to wait and see. I really think this is something Niantic has to keep in mind when they make a big change like this. It's not going to be universally good for every player, and naturally, there will be plenty of reasons why they should have kept it the way it was. Now, this is not the only thing coming down the pipeline for Community Day. Even though this particular change was controversial, at least a couple of other planned changes may go really well. One particular change that I am personally looking forward to is the addition of some group play mechanics, which is brand new to Community Days. Specifically, Niantic is adding a brand new functionality where if enough Pokemon are caught from a single lure, then a 3 times experience bonus will be applied to all Pokemon within the vicinity of that lure for 30 minutes. I don't know why, but I thought this mechanic was genius and totally in line with what Community Days are supposed to be about. I love the idea of community engagement mechanics like this, especially for an event which is meant to be a complete celebration of local Pokemon Go communities and groups. Aside from this change, there's going to be plenty of additional perks and bonuses happening during this Community Day. Most of these additional perks are to make up for the lower duration, which I am completely satisfied with. One final note before I close this video off, I really do think that Niantic isn't going to stop changing and iterating on Community Days with Stuffle. I'm confident that this year is going to be the year where Niantic is just going to go hard on experimenting with player experiences. This wasn't even the first time we saw Niantic dabble with Community Days. Back when we had Hoppip Community Day, Niantic meddled with evolved form spawns happening in very specific habitats. We also had the introduction of Community Day Classics at the beginning of this year as well. This all seems to indicate to me that Niantic is looking to improve on old features, rather than straight up neglecting them. Sure, some of these changes won't be universally agreed upon, but at least Niantic is making the effort. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I really am excited for this next Community Day because of Stuffle, but I can't help but feel like the controversies are going to sour the experience. But let me know your thoughts. What are you looking forward to with April Community Day, and what other changes would you like to see in the future? Are you unhappy about the reduced duration? Definitely let me know why in the comments section below, and let's have a great discussion. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here. And don't forget that little bell so you stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support this channel in any way, then do consider checking out the links in the description below. But yeah, that's going to be it. I am Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I will catch you all later.